Hi, my name is Jessica Shearer, and I research ways to decrease testing anxiety for students. Growing up, I always felt a lot of anxiety when taking tests, and it made it really difficult for me to show what I know on the test. As I got into my field placements, I found that a lot of students had the same exact problem. They knew or they had an understanding of the material, but when it came to take the test, they just couldn't show what they knew. So, in my 4th grade classroom, I chose to complete my research project, How to Decrease Testing Anxiety for Students. To complete this project, I administered 2 surveys to students. The first one asked students, do they even have testing anxiety, and what are their testing preferences. So, the first question, do you have testing anxiety? Before we even answered this question, I had to give my students a little background knowledge on what anxiety is. Although I had seen it in a lot of my students, I didn't think a lot of them knew what the word meant. So I found a couple of videos online that gave a kid-friendly explanation of testing anxiety, and then had them give their own personal examples so that they can make a connection. So once they had that background knowledge, they were able to assess their own anxiety on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being none at all, and 5 being a lot, and I can't handle it. So once we did that, I asked my students their testing preferences. I asked them what subject gives them the most anxiety. Do they prefer to test in a large group or a small group? Do they prefer multi-choice, extended response, or projects? Do they prefer many assessments along the unit, or one big one at the end? And then do they prefer to complete a paper, pencil, or computer assessment? So based on the results from that, I was able to modify my assessments in my unit to do many small assessments and then one small project at the end, and they were all on paper pencil. So from my graphs, these were the results. The 2 big pieces of data that I found in my initial surveys are on this blue graph. I found that many students preferred projects, and then next multiple choice. And then finally, not many students preferred to do extended response. And then I also found that many students preferred to do many small assessments as opposed to one large one at the end. This is a little surprising to me because projects are typically a project or an assessment that we would do at the very end, so that was a little contradictory. So then, this orange graph is a comparison of students' levels of anxiety that they felt before the unit and then after we did the assessments that they said they preferred. So the dark orange is our survey 1, so you can see that most of the students felt a level 3 anxiety kind of in the middle, but still kind of high. And then a couple students felt a level 4, and then no students felt that they had a level 5 anxiety. And then in the lighter orange on the graph, you can see that there was a decrease in level 3 feelings and level 4 feelings, and an increase in level 2 and level 1. So overall, students did feel a decrease in anxiety. So what I learned, students will surprise you. I thought that a lot of students prefer multiple choice, but that was a little bit different. Data on testing anxiety will depend on your class, so you would have to do these surveys with every single class because students are going to be different. And then students prefer frequent assessments and projects. That's it. We did it.